What's going on, PlayDate Community? Welcome back to another episode. My name is Franchovi, and in this series we're building your game. So, if you guys remember last time we were making CYNT Cuber his little request to add random shit like people shooting out of the ship. So we, jokes aside, I love that comment. Thank you so much. I mean, it forces you to be creative and come up with cool ideas for a game. So I really do appreciate it, and drop more stupid requests down below in the comments and I will get to them. So we were in the middle of working on that one, and right now we have this little human bubble that shoots out of the ship. We do need a way to pick it up. We need to be able to pick up that player. So we probably also want to show the number of seconds on a timer or something like that. Right before I do that, let's do a bit of housekeeping. I actually forgot to reset the score between runs. And so what we should do when the game restarts is reset the score to 0. So we're going to go into main.lua, we're going to go into game start, and we're going to do score.reset. There we go. And I know it's going to take ages for me to test it, and it worked. Okay, perfect. So we're going to do multiple things. First of all, when we're going to add a little bit of bells and whistles to this thing. When the player touches an enemy and the human gets launched out, we're going to add a little bit of animation screen shake, and we're also going to pause the movement of the player so that the human has time to get out of the ship, the collision range of the ship, so that we can go and pick it up afterwards. Because obviously at the beginning, if you're gonna go send the human but then it's still colliding with the ship, that's gonna be a problem. So we're gonna actually create a timer, which is gonna be self.human timer lost. No, we're gonna call it timer human eject. Okay, timer human eject. Okay, equals playdate.timer.new. We're gonna make it last relatively short, but not too short, maybe 1,200, so 1.2 seconds. Then we're gonna define the function's callback. So we're gonna type function, open, close brackets, and in there, we're gonna do multiple things. So we're gonna disable the input, we're gonna screen shake. Let's just run with it, let's do it like this. So we're going to do self.human timer eject equals nil, first of all, like removing that timer from the function. Screen shake. And so in order to do this, I always do this by the way, we're going to go into utils, we're going to create a new file, call it screenshake.lua. And then actually, if you've got the SDK for Playdate, there's a screen shake function right there. Excuse me, you can copy the entire function. This is what I do. You copy the entire function, you paste it there, make sure it doesn't say local, and then basically you have screen shake, shake time, shake magnitude. Leave the comments there if you want to be able to read through it and understand what it's doing, but it's pretty basic. It actually has a timer, and it sets like it uses this set offset thing to basically move the draw offset of the entire screen around, and then basically that will make a screen shake. So we're just going to make sure we import that utils function. We're going to do import utils/screen shake, and then we're back to player, and then we can give it like, I don't know, let's see what it asks for again. So screen shake, shake time, and shake magnitude. So shake time, we want it to be relatively long, like maybe 800. And then shake magnitude, we don't want it that high. I think 8 maybe is enough. We can try it like that. So that's gonna be our screen shake. And then we wanna disable self.disable inputs equals true. So there's no such thing as disable inputs, I'm making that up. We should go to self.add and add that. Self.disable inputs is gonna be false by default. And then we're going to read that when we're doing the button press and crank position. So this is going to be the inputs right here. Right. So we're going to add end after the entire B button pressed situation. And we're going to add the if statement way at the beginning. So we're going to do if self.disable inputs, then, and sorry, so if not self.disable inputs, then, and then you basically have crank, A button, B button, all that being handled, and then end. Okay, so that's going to be disable inputs, and then we're going to have one last one, which is going to be handle the human collision. So what we'll do is like this. If not self dot, and what do we call it again? Timer human eject. So if there's no ejection timer, which is again that moment where the human is still colliding with the player, and then we can say and self dot timer human lost. So we want to make sure that this timer is on, or else there's no point in checking whether there's a human, because if that timer's not on, then there is no human. Oh yeah, and we want to check the other, of course. So we want to do and get meta table collision other dot class equals human, then, and then this is going to be self colon on touch human. So this is going to be picking up the player again, or sorry, the human again, from the ship. On touch enemy function player colon on touch human, open close brackets, and so this is going to be basically picking the human back up. So what we can do is that we can again remove the timer of this human lost, timer human lost colon remove self.timer human lost equals nil. And instead of doing has died, what we're going to do is that we're going to do self.sprite human colon remove, like that. All right, that was a bit of code. Let's see if any of that works. Nope, not at all. We're going to do if self.disable inputs. So you can remove that conditional that wraps around all the input stuff. We're going to do it like this. If self.disable inputs, then return. And so, and actually we're not going to name it disable inputs. We're going to call it, and I'm going to use the rename symbol here, which is nice and useful in VS Code. I'm going to be disable update. There we go. And so what that's going to do is that it's going to skip the entire update function if we have this disable update turned on right here. Self.disable update equals true. So I'm skipping the entire update function, which is maybe not so great if we're going to add stuff in there that matters in the future. But because we're handling the human in a separate sprite and a lot of other things in separate sprites, we might be okay doing that for now. So I'm going to restart this. I'm going to press A to start, and let's see how this handles. Boom. Okay. There was a bit of lag there. Like I didn't... Oh, wait. So this is what happened. We need to do this screen shake and disable update on touch enemy. Because when you touch the enemy, that's when the screen shakes and you launch the player and you disable the update. And then after 1200 milliseconds, you can turn disable update back to false. So self.disable update equals false. And then the screen shake and the self.disable update in the other part are set to true. So now we're able to run into the enemy. Boom! Look at that. Okay, awesome. We don't have collisions set up for the human, so we need to fix that. But that was pretty cool. I like that animation and everything. I'm going to increase the player speed a little bit, and I'm going to shorten the timer. So I'm going to set it to, let's do 5 seconds. It might be better to do even shorter. Last thing, human, we're going to set the collisions in the human. So we're going to do set collide rect, and then we're going to do 0, 0, self dot colon get size. So this sets it to the entire box, basically. Maybe we should do it a little bit smaller. So here we have 52, 52. Let's just do it like the player's range. So we're going to do 10, 10, and then 32, 32. That's going to be the collide rect. So it's going to be a little bit smaller. I'll turn on the playdate show collision rects, and you'll see that the player has a slightly smaller square that's going to be inside. I think it's going to be better just so that you really need to go into the player and you can't get away with, you know, touching outside of the bubble, which is going to be a weird experience. Okay, let's see again if that works. Boom. Oh man, I love that screen shake. Okay. Oh well, what happened there? Okay, other thing, the human is flying out of the screen and he's not coming up on the other side. So let's add that functionality. I am not going to copy and paste that code because I know that there may be more than one place where we want to be able to handle that off-screen movement. So what I'm going to do, because this is very general, it just says self.x move to. I'm going to copy this function and I'm going to call it self.handle screen wrapping. Okay, so what that's going to do is that it's going to check whether it's in the bounds of the screen, and if it's gone off on one side or another, it's going to teleport on the other side of the screen. And we're actually going to make our first, we're going to do our first extension function. So I'm going to create a new folder called extensions. Welcome to the life of a real programmer. We're going to call it sprite.lua. And what we're going to do is we're going to add a function to playdate.graphics.sprite. So we're going to do like this: playdate.graphics.sprite handle screen wrapping. There we go. So, oh, sorry, we need function before that. Function playdate.graphics.sprite handle screen wrapping. We're going to paste that code right there. And then basically that's it. That's all we need. And so we're going to make sure to create a file called extensions.lua in the main parent directory there. We're going to do import extensions/sprite. And in main.lua, we're going to make sure to import those extensions, one of the first ones. So we're going to do it right after assets. We're going to do import extensions. Okay, so that means that in our player, we can now have this handle screen wrapping, which leads us here. And then in human, I can also do self handle screen wrapping. And because I've extended playdate.graphics.sprite, I'm now good to call this function from any sprite that I want. So welcome to extensions. It's really cool stuff. Don't abuse it though. It can get bad real quick. I mean, let's test it on the player first. Okay, it works. Oh, and you saw it. It just went across the screen. Okay, so there's still some things that need to be done here, but I'm liking the direction. I think it's really quite cool. And I will work on some new ideas. Feel free to leave any suggestions in the comments below in the meantime. I think we can start working on improving the movement, even if this one doesn't feel that bad. I think, yeah, we probably should put it in a timer. Let's do that as the last thing. I'm gonna do a big 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 in the center of the screen. So I guess what makes the most sense here is to do it from main.lua, so we can handle it as like a GUI rather than anything else. And so what we're gonna do is that we're gonna get, we're gonna do function player : get timer human lost remaining seconds. Okay, bit of a long name, but it's okay. And so here we're going to do if self.timer human lost, then, oh sorry, first we're going to guard. If not self.timer human lost, then return nil. You don't have to put nil, but it's return nil. And then what we're going to do is that we're going to get the remaining time. Yeah, so we're going to do self.timer human lost dot duration minus self.timer human lost dot current time, and that's going to be our duration remaining. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do math.floor and then wrap the entire thing there. So that's going to make sure that we are returning numbers like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, not 3.6668943. Like, we're not going to get any of that useless numbers there. I'm also going to change the timer to say 5999. So the human timer lost, or timer human lost, I'm going to change it to 5999 because that's going to mean that we are actually doing 6 seconds, but that 5 originally is going to be there for basically an entire second. So it's going to say 5, 4, 3, not 5, 4, if that makes sense. And then we can call this in main.lua. So I'm going to do playdate.update. I'm going to do if player colon get timer human lost remaining seconds. Oh, sorry. So I'm going to, instead of doing if, I'm going to do local timer human lost remaining seconds. Okay, maybe we can find a better name for it. If, and then equals player colon get timer human lost remaining seconds. And then next line is going to be if timer human lost blah, blah, blah. Then, so that's checking if it's not nil, because if there's no timer, then it's going to be nil. We don't have to draw anything. And then here we're going to do this font default, draw text aligned. Actually, we want to draw it really big. Okay, let's just draw it small for now. So draw text aligned. So that's going to be a bit of a cleaner way to do it. Right there. Timer human lost remaining seconds. So again, that's font default colon draw text aligned, open brackets, toString, open brackets, timer human lost remaining seconds, close brackets. So it's going to be 200, 120, k text alignment dot center. And we can also replace this append thing up here with toString if you guys want to do that. I think what that does is that it's a bit faster than, like, basically by doing it, you're doing toString, but you're adding it to an empty string. Meanwhile, this, you're just doing the conversion and not adding it to an existing empty string. So we should have this draw text align pop up when our player gets smashed by an enemy. Oh, nice. The floor function did not work as I expected. We have to do, let's add another brackets inside that math.floor, and then let's go afterwards and do divided by 1000. So instead of getting the milliseconds, we should be getting the seconds. So again, let's see. Ready, set, go. 4, 3, 2. All right. Look at that. Guys, I'm very happy with this functionality. How cool. So thanks again, YNTCuber, for that original suggestion. It was really fun, and as you can see, it turned into a very unique functionality, which I'm excited about. So thank you guys, all of you, for watching, and please drop more ideas down in the comments below. And I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.